Alright guys, I'm back, and in this video I kind of wanted to go over something that I feel like gets thrown around a lot, and that is Colorado public land still worth hunting? I mean, you see on Facebook, if somebody asks a question about a unit, everybody says the unit's overcrowded, it's not what it used to be, there's not as many big deer, yada yada yada. And let's talk about if that's really the case, or if that's an exaggeration, or what. So, and I'm going to kind of connect this to my most recent trip to Colorado on a mule deer hunt in a 0-point unit, keep in mind, 0-point unit. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing that I really noticed is all the road hunters. So the first opening morning of second season, me and my sister pull into this piece of public, and as soon as we got into the public, we parked the truck and we walked up the mountain. And as I looked down the road, and I could see, a mile, 2 miles down the road, every 100 yards, there was another vehicle with 2 or 3 people inside, and they were just sitting right outside their truck, just glassing from the road and hunting from the road. So there's a lot of road hunters. So I would say if you get off the road, and which we did, when we got off the road, so there was a mountain on each side of the road. If we go, up that mountain and just to the other side of it, we never seen another hunter. Never seen one. And we actually ended up, harvesting one right there. Half mile from the road. It's just you can't see it from the road. So, so yeah, a lot of road hunters, and I would say you eliminate at least 50% of the competition once you get off the road. So another thing that I kind of noticed that seems different this year is, and maybe it was just the unit, it was most likely the unit that I was hunting, but I've never seen that many grazing cattle on public hunting land. And obviously I knew that it happens, and and there's not just cattle, there's sheep or goats or whatever, kind of all around, but I was astonished by the amount of cattle that we seen. So that was one thing kind of strange to me. And if you're hunting an area like that, you may want to try to kind of avoid the cattle. I mean, we never seen any deer right by the cattle. They always seem to maneuver around them. So definitely check that out. And I hear that there's a big problem with goats or sheep or something in some other units. So just keep in mind of grazing farm animals, because that seems to be pretty commonplace now. I mean, I'm not real sure. Maybe it was just a unit I was hunting, but yeah. So the next thing is that I wanted to talk about is the common courtesy and just friendliness of other hunters. So in my experience, where I'm from, I've always had great encounters with other hunters. We talk to them, especially on, when you're hunting public land. You bump into another hunter, you say, hey, where are you going? Or they ask you where you're going. Okay, you're going over there. Well, I'll stay out of your way. I'll go this way. It was just interactions like that. Have you seen anything? Blah, 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 blah. And I have to say that I was pretty disappointed with the amount of people who were not very friendly to us. So the first encounter that we had was opening morning, and we were standing on this mountain and we were watching the people down on the road, and somebody shot one, and we seen them walking around tracking it for like 2 hours while we were glassing around. And so when we got off the mountain, we went over to them, and we actually ended up seeing the deer that they shot kind of go up the hill in bed. So we went, when we went down the mountain, we went over there, told them, and they were like, no, you didn't, blah, 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 blah. And they were extremely rude. And the next morning, when I actually harvested my deer, we went over there, and that deer was dead right there, still untouched. So that's very unfortunate that things like that happen. And, a bunch of little things, people weren't super friendly. They weren't, super courteous. If they seen us in one spot, they didn't really care. And just some strange things. And don't get me wrong, we also had some great encounters. There's still great people out there. But it just seems that people now just want to shoot their deer and get on with it. and they don't care what you're doing. They don't care if you're stalking the same deer. They don't care. So I actually seen a post on Facebook the other day about or it's probably been a couple weeks now, but this guy, he shot a deer and he made a good shot. And as it was running, another hunter came up and shot the deer. And, the deer was already, about to die. And the other hunter, they talked it out or whatever. And, the other hunter said that, he missed it or whatever. And blah, 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 blah. Well, it turns out the other hunter was being super pushy, tracked the deer with the dude who shot it and was pushing it. And long story short, got to the end of the trail with the dead deer, turned into a big argument. And it was just a crazy ordeal. And, it's crazy that those things happen now. And I don't think that's super uncommon. I've seen a few other stories like that as well. So another thing that you'll see a lot on Colorado public land is lots of hikers and campers and just people who are doing anything but hunting, which isn't, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I did notice a lot more of that this year than, I ever have. Another thing is that I kind of wanted to talk about, and it's pretty obvious, and that is the effect that social media has had on hunting in general, not just Colorado, but just hunting in general. People bashing each other, and, really made, people have a cold shoulder, and all kinds of crazy things. And people posting, people post a cool picture with their deer, and then somebody goes, "Oh, I recognize that mountain." They find it on onX, and next thing you know, that spot is crowded the next year. So, I mean, you can say what you want about that, but social media has definitely had some bad effects on hunters and hunting. So let's go ahead and kind of get into the conclusion. There is a lot of people on public land. There's a lot of new hunters. But the reality of it is there's plenty of animals to go around. If you get off the road, you can do just fine. Like I said, there was 100 people lined up down the road, and, I went a half mile away from the road over a mountain and, harvested a deer and seen several others. But yeah, just really get off the road. And, although that I had a couple of bad encounters, don't get me wrong, there's still great people out there. And I'm sure the majority of the hunting community is super awesome. And so don't make assumptions about somebody. But long story short, it is absolutely worth it. It's always worth it to get out there and go hunting, whether you're successful in getting an animal or not. It was really about the experience for me. I mean, it's such an awesome experience, and it's something that you'll never forget, and especially to share it with somebody else, it's awesome. So let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.